Hello goddesses, my name is Sherry Kumar of the goddessprinciples.net, and today we're going to be talking about why any effort to keep a man in your life is a complete waste of your time. If you're doing anything at all to keep a man in your life, you're doing way too much. Any effort on your part shifts the power away from you and onto him, and we all know what happens when you give up your power. I want to teach you about how to keep the power to yourself and at the same time maintain your self-respect and retain the respect of the other person in your life. We all give away our power when we make the other person much more important than we are. And I know women have a tendency to do that. They get very excited about the possibility of a new relationship. And love is a beautiful thing, and we all will do anything to keep it in our lives. But when that love and that relationship becomes more important to us than anything else, the other person can actually sense it. We all have the sixth sense, and whether we express it or not, we could always tell how the other person feels about the relationship simply by the way they act towards us. So I see that a lot of women, as soon as they get into a relationship, they begin to make an effort. And one of the worst things that you could do when you see that the person isn't performing up to your expectations is to sit him down and say, hey, you need to act like this. Hey, this is the type of behavior that will please me. Hey, can you adjust this part of your personality or your actions in order for us to get along better? And this is certainly not wrong. I mean, we've all been taught to do this. Every dating manual, every relationship book out there, every expert who teaches you how to find true love will instruct you that you have to make a great effort in order to make a relationship work. I am not a big believer in effort, especially not when it comes to relationships, and I'm going to explain to you why. Personally, and I think of myself as a dating and a relationship goddess, I believe that my lifestyle is absolutely perfect. I love it. I also love myself more than anything else, and my sense of self-respect is actually the most important thing to me. So one of the things that I do when I enter a new relationship is to simply observe. My eyes are wide open, my ears are wide open, but I am not making any judgments or emotionally jumping into that relationship right away, because it's very important to me to remain objective about this person and be able to determine whether he is a good fit for me. And really in the first few months of a relationship, that's the most important question that I want to answer to myself. I want to make sure that he fits my lifestyle, that he fits my needs, that he can contribute to my fun, to my amusement, to my intelligence. He can teach me something new. He can show me something new. He doesn't waste my time. Instead, he occupies it constructively. And so really in the first few months, I'm simply observing, making no demands of the man, not asking him to change, because really I would like to welcome him and welcome his true personality and let it all come out. Why I think one of the worst things that we do is, and so it really is something that we've been taught by media, our parents, relationship experts, is to perhaps over communicate. Sit that person down and for a nice conversation, a heart to heart. And of course we all know men absolutely hate this, because as soon as we say we need to talk, they freeze and they know that it's time to run. But also because sitting someone down in front of you and spelling it out to them what kind of relationship you need or what kind of behavior you expect from them actually will do one or two things. Either he will internally think, well, okay, what right does she have to demand that I change myself for her benefit? I'm just going to split, and you'll see him leave. Or if a person really wants to appease you, he will make a little bit of an effort to be a good boy and perform according to your expectations, but don't expect this change to be real. I mean, we all have our true personality, and that's impossible to erase. So if someone's behavior doesn't suit your needs, it's much better to just observe it and realize it. Figure out, is this somebody who I can have in my life long term? Is it somebody worth investing in? Or is it really not a good fit? And for me personally, it's always a good idea to let that person go. I've learned through experience that letting go really isn't as difficult as we all make it sound. But it's also extremely healthy, because by letting go of the person who isn't necessarily for me, A, I'm making more room in my life for the person who is. B, I'm respecting my time. I'd rather spend my time doing something more meaningful to me than spending with trying to shape somebody to fit my lifestyle. And C, it helps me maintain that sense of self-respect that is very, very important to me. So I highly urge you to learn the art of letting go and allow people to just move on. See that a lot of men have this belief that perhaps they got from society, culture, and media, that women need them more than they need women. And I don't blame them for this. I mean, you turn on any television, read any newspaper article, and you'll read stories about how women are desperate to find a man, how desperate they are to have marriage or have a baby. And sure, that is a reality for some women out there, not so much a reality for a true goddess. But I don't blame men for really believing this either. Media is inundated with stories like this. So really, as a goddess, it's my job, my responsibility to myself, to show them that this simply isn't true. One thing that I have learned from dating and experimenting with dating is the fact that men are just as hopeful and just as much of a need of finding a good relationship, getting married, having children, finding a stable home. The only difference is that women are much more willing to express that, to verbalize it, whereas a man will keep that to himself and keep on looking. So I always urge women to, be a little bit more respecting of themselves, but also have higher standards when it comes to what kind of men you have relationships with. The only way you're going to know who he is if you just simply allow him to be who he is and state who he is and talk about whatever he wants to talk about, act any way that he wants to act, because that's the only way for them to show us who they really are as people. You have to observe. If you ask a person to behave a certain way, they will appease you, but again, then you're not getting the real person. You're getting someone who's just acting for your benefit. And you don't know what exactly he's acting for. Is he trying to appease you in order to have a long and steady relationship? Or if he's just doing that for his own short-term needs? But really the best way to do that is to simply have an attitude of, the first 3 months are an observation period. I let you be who you want to be. And if you're not good enough for me, I will walk. And of course, you don't state that to the man, but you have to be prepared to let go of that guy if he doesn't meet your need. One of the things that I really don't like is how the media portrays single women today. And that's one of the reasons that I founded thegoddessprinciples.net, is really to counteract that image that the media has placed on us. We are not all desperate to get married or have babies. Majority of women I know are perfectly happy on their own. They're thriving being single. They're thriving in their careers. They have options. And of course, people who have options and people who have choices can afford to invest in themselves. They can afford to be a little bit more liberal with their lifestyle, to live life on their own terms. And my goal is really to dispel that notion that women are after men or that women are pining for men, relationships, and marriage. Sure, certainly there are a lot of women out there who want that, but really, and I don't blame anybody for doing that. I want that too, but I am against this. I also want to dispel this notion that's portrayed by the media that single women today are in desperate need of a man, that women with a career who have invested a lot of time and money in their educations and growing themselves and have high-powered jobs are now finding themselves desperate, lonely, with their biological clock ticking. I think the media has done a lot to disempower women when in fact, so many of us are thriving in this new lifestyle. Of course, education and careers have given us a lot of options. I know for one, I travel, I have an amazing lifestyle, I have amazing friends, but I also have a lot of great adventuresome relationships. I don't take relationships or men that seriously, and that's because my career and my education have empowered me to do so. So my hope with thegoddessprinciples.net is really to show women, other women who are thriving, and also dispel this ugly way that the media is portraying us. To conclude this video though, I really want to state that in any healthy relationship, especially if you're a goddess, man is not the prize. You are the prize, we are the prize, and we really have to treat ourselves like we are the prize. The best relationship that I have with myself is the relationship that I have with myself. And then all other relationships, friendships, romantic relationships are secondary. I know that I'm a firm believer in chemistry. When I meet somebody with whom I have a lot of chemistry, that relationship is completely effortless. Not a lot of work has to be put into trying to make one another fit into our lives. Instead, the relationship simply flows. We get along well, our personalities are a good fit, our lifestyles are a good fit, the relationship feels very easy. You know right away that a relationship isn't right when you have to start compromising from date number one. Or that it isn't right that the day you start changing yourself, changing your personality to fit somebody's lifestyle, you know this is wrong. So I'll be posting a lot more videos about how to turn the relationship tables and empower yourselves. But for this video, really the takeaway message is you are the prize. Work less in relationships, work more in yourself. Give less to the other person in the relationship, give more to yourself. I'm not saying don't respect the other person, of course you should do, but the respect that you have should really be more for yourself, and that's how you start to treat yourself like a goddess. Again, I'm a firm believer in chemistry, and if it just isn't there, if the relationship isn't flowing naturally and easily, that means that probably you're not a good match, and that's okay. The more people you let go, and the more people that you could easily and effortlessly say goodbye to, the more new people will come into your life, and the more choices you have. But most of all, you will start feeling much more healthy and much more self-aware when you can do that. So if you'd like to learn more about me or the Goddess Principles, go to www.thegoddessprinciples.net. I post a lot of events that I'm doing. I do a lot of international retreats, workshops, but I also have a very cool blog where I pretty much spell out what's on my mind that day or what a lot of my mentoring clients want to talk about. Also, I have an Instagram, so check me out at thegoddessprinciples_net, and 2 Facebook pages, one of which is a private group, both of which are called The Goddess Principles. Till then, if you have any questions for me, feel free to contact me via my website. Again, that's thegoddessprinciples.net. Simply fill out the contact forms, and I'll do my best to either get back to you via email or possibly address one of your questions on video. Till then, Talk to you later. Bye.